Hi, it's Jenny, and today's Real Funny Friends with me is Harland Williams. You, you can know him from a million different things, but one of my favorites is, of course, Half Baked. I don't know why, but I went
Right.
to a candy store the other day and I found Abba Zaba, and I kept
Wow.
like, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, Abba Zaba, you my only friend, and the young kid working at the store goes, "What?" I'm like, "You need a movication. Like, you need to see that movie."
Wow.
But things like that. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Something about Mary, Rocketman. We were talking earlier about how you voiced Bob on Puppy Dog Pals. That's where my kids would know you from. So you've done all these different things. Is there anything that you've turned down, flat out, gone, nah, I don't want to do this right now?
Yeah, I turned down a lot of movie roles. Like I get offered like movie roles that I don't necessarily like. Like
Mhm.
I want to do a movie, have a role where I can bring something to it.
Yeah.
And I also want the movie to be sort of a real movie. Nowadays in the digital age, a
Mhm.
lot of people have the ability to throw a crew together and make a movie. So you get a lot of offers. Hey, we want you for the lead role in this movie. And then you kind of ask, well, what's the budget? Where are you shooting? How long? And
Is it your cousin that's running the camera
you
and on his
realize
phone?
it's a
Yeah.
lot of this sort of lower scale stuff. And as much as I love people making movies and pursuing their art, it's another thing when you've kind of been doing movies your whole acting
Mhm.
career and you sort of want to maintain that level of quality. And so sometimes when you do these lower budget, smaller things, they don't come out as sort of as good as they maybe seem on paper. So
Well, in a lot of your roles, like even if it's like a smaller character in the movie or whatever, like you always bring so much extra to it. Like I feel like if I've seen something about Mary, I know exactly who your character is. And it's a
yeah,
different character every
yeah.
time, but you're able to capture whatever essence of that character. And that's why I wondered, I'm like, have you ever thought about doing like a serious role or something like that? Is that something that would even be interesting to you?
Yeah, I would. As I get older, it's like I've done, gosh, I think I've done over 40 movies now, maybe
Hmm.
more, and so most of them are comedy.
Yeah.
And as I get a little older and I want to kind of stretch the range a little, I thought,
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like, yeah, if something came down the pipe that was really cool and it was a serious role, I'd definitely try it because, you hear from serious actors all the time,
Yeah.
comedy's the hardest thing to do when you're acting. Well, for comedians, it's the easiest thing to do. The hardest thing to do for comedians is serious stuff. It's the
Oh,
opposite.
yeah.
So to challenge myself after 40 comedies, I'd be willing to jump in and try a serious role to creatively challenge myself. So
Well, and I think that would be so jarring and shocking for people that it might be something that even then it's like, "Oh my god, did you like I never would have seen him in that role, but I feel like you could play it and people would be like, "Wow, okay."
well, wow, okay if I pulled it off.
Yeah.
That's the fun part of it. That's
Are you
the
still
the
scared
challenge.
about that after all these years that you've been, I mean, because 'cause you've done so much, and like is that something you're still terrified of, like a flop or something that
No, I'm not scared because you have no control really as an actor of how it comes out.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, when I read the script for Dumb and Dumber and something about Mary on paper, I didn't think they were funny. I was like, like
Yeah.
I just kind of okay, it's sort of I didn't get it, but then you get the directors, the Farrelly brothers. You get Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
who takes kind of a bland piece of material and puts Jim Carrey onto it, and look what it became. So you never know how it's going to come out. And then on the opposite side of that, you can get a script and go, "This is going to be amazing," and then it comes out, you're like, "Ooh, that didn't work out."
That
So
wasn't for
yeah, that's sort of the fun of it. It's you sort of it's sort of a mystery, and
Mhm.
so I don't worry about flop or success because it's so out of your hands.
Yeah.
All you can do is hope. You go, wow, I brought everything I could bring to it.
Yep.
I brought what I felt was the best. Let's hope that the whole thing comes out as a package. And so, as you know,
Do you get to
something,
ad lib on a lot of that too? Like some of the stuff, because I know your character,
yeah,
they kind of give you the guidelines for a character and then you build on it
yeah.
as you want to as an artist and whatever else. Do you get to ad lib a lot? Is some of that stays in the film, or is it more like this is your line, read your line?
My first movie, Dumb and Dumber, they asked me to ad lib,
Okay.
and I did it. So a lot of those lines were improvised, and then I learned from that experience that there's power in that. Like I have the ability to do that. So every movie going forward, I didn't ask. I just did it. And I didn't do it to be
Like ask
cocky
for
or
forgiveness, not permission, because it was just like it was a better process for you.
yeah. It came to me, and so I would out of respect do lines from the script, but then I'd always, if something spoke to me in the moment, it felt organic. I wouldn't improv just to do it. I would do it because it felt like this was coming from this character's voice. And fortunately, most of my movies, they left a lot of my improv in. So in the end, it ended up helping the movie, which makes me happy. So
I love that. See?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we forget, like, you guys are artists. You're not just reading a script and doing whatever. And and you can tell definitely with all the different characters that you've ever done. If you were going to be in the Marvel universe, who would you be?
I would love to be Ghost Rider.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he was one of
this.
my favorite. But I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a Marvel. If there was a real Marvel character, I don't have a chin. So I think it would be like no chin guy, and
You
his
want a couple of
power
mine?
is well, the power he has is that bad guys punch him, and he's got no chin, so it always just goes right by, So he can never be hurt,
Is that a requirement for being a Marvel actor? Is you have to have a chin?
Well, I mean,
They are very good looking, though.
You should be strong looking. Like I mean, I say I'd love to be Ghost Rider, but I think you got to sort of look the part. And
I don't know. Nicolas Cage pulled it off. I feel like that doesn't take much.
Yeah. So I would want to be a character that I like. I wouldn't want to be. I like the idea of Black Panther. I'd be a good Black Panther.
Do you like to
for
be like
sure.
the main character, or like yours? Like you're always kind of the sidekick, or I feel like if I were ever to be in a movie, which was never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I'd always want to be like the funny friend that like makes it to almost the end of the credits because I love horror movies. I'd rather be that person.
No, I'm open. I like it all. I've been the leading guy, and it's amazing. And I've been the bit part, and I've been the co-star, and it's all about if I love the character, if I embrace it, if it's something you can get your claws into, then yeah. But it's different when you're doing smaller parts. Like I get a lot of people want me to do a small part, and unless I can put something on it, I don't want to be.
You don't want to be a bit character, like somebody, Yeah,
I don't want to be just an organic, the doctor that says, hey, it looks like your x-rays are clear. I want to, it's like my bit part in Dumb and Dumber as the cop. I was really able to put stuff on it. And so.
Make it memorable. Make it you.
Make it, I like to bring to the screen, it's such a visual medium. So I always, my motto is let me show people something either physically or give them something verbally they've never heard or seen before. So whether I say words like, hey, that guy's got cheeseburgers on his eyes that smell like toothpaste. Well, I don't think we've ever heard that before, right?
Honestly, I can say no.
So if I can find a way in my dialogue to make it organically fit, like in Dumb and Dumber, I said, you boys been sucking back on Granddaddy's cough syrup. Well, I just made that up. But it's something that no one's ever heard or physically.
Now people scream it out at you when you're walking down the
They
street.
do.
I can see that.
But then when I drank the bottle of pee, after I drank it, I went, which is something nobody's ever visually seen. No. So I like to find ways it's cinema, so let me present to people something that's totally new and fresh. And then that's gratifying to me. And then it gives them something to go, oh, wow, I've never seen or heard that before.
That's awesome. And that's what you get to see, too, with your stand-up. And that's kind of how you started, being able to have a live audience, see that general reaction, and be able to do it. So you've got tonight 2 shows.
Yes.
Tomorrow, 2 shows still, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get to see him at Comedy Works. And this is the one at Landmark. I love that one.
Yeah,
it's so easy
great.
to get in and out of. And
and you have the fumes coming over from Pappadeaux Seafood, so you can watch comedy but sniff shrimp at the same time.
My friends, go check it out, comedyworks.com. Harland Williams, thank you so much.
Thank you.